Hello, and welcome back to Concert Critiques in Cars with Emily. So this is a little bit of a delineation from what I'm used to. Not on the way back from a concert, but I didn't have a car, and I'm human and needed sleep. So we are gonna roll with it. So this is my review for the When We Were Young Festival. Had a ticket for Saturday, VIP, got canceled, spent way too much money for a general admissions ticket on Sunday. Was in Vegas the night before for the We Can Survive show because my friend was like, well, let's go to a different show instead if we can't go to the one today. And I was like, great. And so then I flew back to Las Vegas on Sunday morning and made it just like literally stepped in front of the stage for this first band that I'm going to talk about as they were starting. So glad I made it for them because it was there were two bands that I really bought the ticket for and they were one of them. So let's get into it because it's gonna be a long one. All right, so the first band I saw was Acceptance. Definitely opened with a song from their Phantoms album. So fantastic, knew the song, great start, energetic, loved it. Of course, I don't know the title, unfortunately, but yeah, so it was really great. So the second song, they changed the pace in the second verse, and again, it was a song from that same album, so it was really good. It was like back-to-back great songs, so I really enjoyed that. The third song they played was Deny, and it was a song that I didn't recognize. And so it's funny because I was like thinking to myself, you know, like I get why you want to play a newer song to get people into your music, but then I was like, but come on guys, like you only have 30 minutes and this is When You Were Young, so I don't know. But then it's funny because I will contradict myself later, so just wait for that in a different band. But yeah, so it was a good song. I really liked particularly that he sang higher notes in the verse, so part of it, like as he was singing the lyric, he would then sing a higher note for a certain word, so I really liked that. So again, the song was great, but I was just like, oh, come on man, you gotta just play from that one album. But it was good. So then after that, it was Over You. Lots of subtle changes to the chorus, really loved it. Then they played Glory to Us, which I know is like a big song of theirs. Not my favorite by any means, but it was really good to see live. And I really liked, like the second verse of that song is very good. And so when they were playing it, I was like, all right, this song is good. And again, I like the song, but I just think their other songs are better. So if I got to hand pick the set list, that wouldn't be on it for a half-hour set. Then they played So Contagious, which guys, yeah, So Contagious. That is my song of theirs. I love it so much. I really love it so much. They changed the second chorus. He added lines to the bridge. The pacing was a little bit different. He let the crowd sing the chorus. And then at the end, like the dual vocals. Oh my gosh, I really could not have asked for anything more. And I'm so glad that I made it in time to see it and just experience that song live one more time in my life. Oh, so good. So then after that, they had played Take Cover, which again, perfect follow-up to So Contagious. So good, like those two songs back to back. Woo! So great, like such a good moment. Made everything that happened before that worth it. So yeah, so they made subtle changes to the chorus before the bridge and then the one after, so I really liked that. And again, just back to back with So Contagious. I mean, how do you not? After that, I went to the other stage to see Story of the Year. Really great, energetic first song. I did miss a little bit of it just because I was walking from the one stage to the other stage. But it was energetic and I really liked it. The second song was a good follow-up. Had a really cool guitar part for the bridge. I really loved the opening instrumental and the lyrics of the first verse for the third song. So I thought that was really good. Then he commented on the show happening today, as opposed to the one yesterday. After that, he played Anthem of My Dying Day, which was so good to see live. Like really loved the lyrics in the second verse. The end was sang really well, like the screamy part. Maybe a little too early in the set for me because I was like, oh, like that was one of the ones that I really knew well. But again, so great to see live. After that, it played Real Life, which is a new song. So that had like a really short, quick feel with repetition. I really liked it, and their record is coming out in March. And so again, this is like part of the, like, I'm so glad they played that song, because now I am like, whoa, they're like still really good. So definitely gonna check them out. The next song had a heavy start with a lot of screaming. I recognized the song. It was a good follow-up to the previous song because they kind of went well together. I loved the bridge. The crowd sang the chorus. So again, that was like a good classic. I just didn't happen to know it as well. They had the crowd repeat after him, and like his voice cracked. And so he was like, wow, you guys even did the voice crack. Like, that was really cool. So that was fun. Again, I just like love when bands like actually are paying attention to what the crowd is doing. And then they went into Till the Day I Die. Guys, it was a perfect song to end with. Again, it's like, just stick to what is like a crowd pleaser, and I like, whatever, be a poser, be a sellout. I just love it. It was so good. The lead singer went to the barricade to sing another fantastic bridge. The crowd sang the first part of the chorus after the bridge. Like, it was just so good. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I was shocked at how much I enjoyed Story of the Year. I knew I was gonna like it because I knew a few of their songs, but man, even the songs I did, like, they just were so good. And the next band I'm gonna talk about, like, you'll see, there was just something about Story of the Year that just made them so great, because the next band was the Starting Line. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty sure I definitely knew Best of Me, but I didn't really know any other ones. But I thought maybe at least I would recognize another one. But it was like a totally different show, and they went on right after on the same stage as Story of the Year. So I didn't recognize the song, but I really liked the verses, especially the second one. Next, it was a really great follow-up. It matched energy-wise, so I really liked that. The third one had like a heavier feel, at least for the opening, and I really enjoyed the second verse and the instrumental bridge for that third song. The fourth one was slow, but had like a heavier start, so I thought that was interesting. And it was like definitely an interesting song because it like shifted the energy, not necessarily in a bad way, but it just like kind of got like darker maybe. I don't know, it was just like a shift for sure. But then it went back into the more like emo punk rock sound for the fourth song. But it was just like so crazy how the vibe in the crowd changed, and maybe that's why I didn't really necessarily, like, I don't know, maybe it was the change in vibe that just kind of like set everything else in motion for their set. But anyway, so after that, the first lyrics were sang without music for the next song, and then the music came in. Something was off sound-wise, maybe the bass. It got like really loud and was actually very distracting. Like, all I could think about was the bass and I don't know what, like the other ones, I don't think it was that I just didn't notice it. I genuinely think something like happened. Someone like asked for louder bass in their ears or something, and then it went like to the crowd. But yeah, it was distracting for that song in particular. But I really did like the sudden shift to the chorus. It was like the music would change when the chorus came on, and then it would shift back for the verses. So I did like that. The next song, the bass was definitely too loud. It drowned out the singer for the first verse. But I liked the chorus. It was simple lyrics, but had good instrumentals. And then they played Best of Me. So I'm glad they saved it for the end. It was fantastic. It was amazing to see it live. Love the lyrical part of that bridge and the end of the song. They changed up the pace right at the end, which was funny because, okay, so you changed the pace like right at the end, like in the last lyric, but everyone was, because they didn't make many other changes throughout the song, it was like everyone was singing the normal pace, and then he slowed it down, and so it just like kind of was a mismatch in that moment. But guys, I saw Best of Me by the Starting Line, so yeah. Anyway, so again, like their set it was just so strange because in my head I figured I would know just as many Story of the Year songs as I did Starting Line songs, but Story of the Year like far outweighed Starting Line. So I don't know, it was an interesting back-to-back sets. Then it was Armor for Sleep, people. The second reason I bought a ticket to the show, so I could see Armor for Sleep. So, oh my gosh, so good. So I know that they are still on tour. They are still like a band and doing stuff, but I could not see them when they came with Hawthorne Heights. So I'm so excited that I got to see them. And it's funny because they definitely started with their very first song off of their new album, which is just like instrumentals and like talking over the instrumentals. And so I thought they were going to go right into their new song, which I actually really like. And so this is where I'm contradicting myself, because I kind of wish they had played their new song off of their new single off their new album, because I really like that song. And I was like really looking forward to hearing it live, but they didn't play it. So I was like, oh, okay. I mean, whatever, because the songs they played were fantastic. So I can't really complain, but that's a band where I would have actually enjoyed hearing the new music. So the second song, technically the first song that they were actually singing, was Truth About Heaven. Changed the pace of the second verse. Such a great start. Personally, a fantastic start, because I don't love that song. And so, I mean, obviously they were going to end with Car Underwater. Let's face it, we all know that. Spoiler. Spoiler, sorry guys. But yeah, so I'm glad that they started with that one and didn't save it to the end, because again, love that song, but it's like not one of my favorites of theirs. And so it was nice to just kind of be able to see that song, but not have it be towards the end. So yeah, and then they let the crowd sing the end of that song. The second one was Stay on the Ground, which I really do love. That's one of my faves. And he let us sing the second line. Great follow-up. Definitely. Okay, so this is like, and then he made subtle changes to the second verse. So let me just tell you, I noticed, again, maybe it's the speech pathologist in me, but he was definitely, I don't even know if it wouldn't be called fronting. He was definitely substituting the G and the K sound, but definitely the G sound more than the K sound. The G sound for the sh sound. And it was just like a weird effect, and it happened multiple times in multiple songs. So definitely something interesting that I took note of. And again, maybe it was just the SLP in me, but again, I just love the song so much that it didn't really bother me, but it was definitely something I took note of. So the guitarist got up on the amp for the instrumental bridge. Yeah, man. And so it was just great. It was really fantastic. All right, so then they talked about the hotel show last night and how he was like, yeah, so like 50,000 people showed up, and I just love that for them. And I really hope that they were, I mean, I know they were there. Some of them were there to see Hawthorne Heights, but I hope everyone was there to see them. I hope they know that they have a huge fan base and that we all love them. Okay, I'm a little biased here. I just love them so much. Okay. So then they played Remember to Feel Real. Fantastic follow-up. Would have liked to see this one a little bit further towards the end, but love the guitar part in the bridge. It was just so good. Oh gosh. Then the next song they played, again, I recognized, but I forgot the name of it. Sorry, guys. They changed the pacing at the beginning. It was the perfect follow-up. And again, the second verse, there were changes in the bridge. So good. And the chorus after. So just lots of changes. Oh, it was just so good to see them and this song. And again, right back to back. After that, they played Dream to Make Believe, which was the best follow-up. So many subtle changes in the second verse. Really, really loved it. And they ended their set with, of course, like I said before, Car Underwater, which, I mean, guys, go on. It was epic. We all knew they were going to end with that song. Anyway, so they let the crowd sing the first half of the first verse, and he came to the barricade to sing the end. I loved every song. And again, like I said before, I was surprised they didn't play their new one, especially right after they kind of opened with that opening to their album. But let's face it, guys, Armor for Sleep was amazing. And I genuinely wish they had been on a bigger stage because they deserve it. They're just so good. And it just, this is so good, guys. All right. So then I went to go get food, and that was like a planned break. And I wanted to run over to see the Wonder Years, but food took way too long. So fortunately, I was right near the Used. So I went to go see them. And I love the Used, do not get me wrong. But if you go back through my history, you will see that I've seen them many times in the past few years, and they play their full albums back to back, like the whole thing. So I felt like I didn't really need to see them because I've seen them kind of recently, and that I haven't seen the Wonder Years recently, and I really wanted to see them. But anyway, they started with Box of Sharp Objects. Great song, so fun to see live. Again, a really great song to start with just because it's a really good crowd pleaser and it gets people into the set. I personally would have liked to see that song at the end because it's one of my favorites. The second song I don't know the name of, Heavy Drumming, I didn't recognize it, and definitely had a different feel during the verses, which I really liked. It was really cool. Yeah, so that was the second song. Then they had this like recorded voice followed by a song I definitely knew but didn't know the song title for. It has one of my favorite lyrics in the song of all time, so like that was great. I really liked seeing that song, because you know that's what we're all here for, right? Sorry, there's a car on the side of the road with flares, so trying to be polite and let people in. So anyway, one of my favorite lyrics like of all time is in this song, so it was really great. They let us sing part of the bridge, so that was pretty cool. Really loved it. Really, again, cannot complain. Then they played like a super old song, like off their, I don't know, they just made it very clear that it was a very old song. Didn't recognize it until about the chorus. Wouldn't have been my follow-up choice, but they did a nice extended instrumental bridge. But again, if I had been able to pick, I wouldn't have picked that as my follow-up. So then they did this thing where they were like, all right guys, we got to get this rage, anxiety, fear all out with a big boo. And so the whole crowd booed at them, and he's like, all right, every time you want to cheer, you got to boo now for us. So that was kind of funny because like later on throughout the set, people were booing, and I was like, no, we love you, but boo, because we're getting all of our aggression out. Then they played Taste of Ink. Again, too early for me personally. I would have liked to see that towards the end. But they let the crowd sing the 4 o'clock in the morning part, and the first line of the chorus, after the second verse. It sounded like he tried to change some of the pacing in the verses. But yeah, so. And then the crowd sang the bridge. The instruments stopped and we got to sing, so that was cool. I really liked that. And then they slowed down the instrumentals at the end for the end, which again, it was funny because it worked this time, not like for the starting line, but I think it worked this time because there were already so many changes and they were already like letting, you know, stopping the music to let us sing, which obviously doesn't happen in the recorded version. So I think the crowd was kind of anticipating that it would maybe be different, and so when it changed, it was like a much easier transition for us to be like, oh, okay, there's a change again, we need to like slow down. Okay, and then they played the song that's like All That I Got. I don't know if that's actually the title or not, but it was a great follow-up, again, like two really well-known songs. They stopped the music at one point and then came back to finish it, so again, I really liked that. It was like a pretty drastic difference. Then they played Better Than That. Again, don't know if that's actually the song title. They had a great bridge, such a great follow-up, such a great bridge. Changed the pace on the chorus, may have changed the lyrics at the end, but I hadn't listened to it in such a long time that I honestly can't for sure tell you that they changed it, so if you know, please let me know. Then he did like this poetry thing while a mosh pit was going on. Like he encouraged them to do a mosh pit and was doing like poetry, which was actually pretty cool. I recognized the song, but I didn't really know it. And again, I would have put that earlier in the set because I like to hear the songs that I know better at the end. Then he made this imaginary, or no, he literally told the crowd to make a line in the middle to separate and then to run at each other when the song builds, which I was way too far back for that to happen, but that was a little bit scary. I was like, ooh, I don't want to be part of that. Didn't recognize the song, and I was really, really disappointed that they ended with a song that I didn't know. I liked that they slowed down for the bridge, and then like as part of the bridge they played a Nirvana cover, which definitely made up for me not knowing the song, but again, they could have done that earlier in the set and I would have been way happier, and to end on 2 of their singles would have just been great. But overall, liked seeing them, and again, I mean, listen, it's these, so you can never go wrong with them. So after that, I saw AFI, which was super exciting because if I've seen them, I genuinely don't remember it. But again, I found myself not knowing as many songs as I thought I would know. I haven't listened to AFI in a long time, so that was maybe on me. It was on me. But let's get into their set because it was really cool. Good and cool. It was cool. So I recognized the song right away, and of course I don't know what the title was. But again, he sounded so good, and he has such a distinct voice that it was just like, guys, this is AFI. So that was like a really cool moment. And again, it was a song that I knew and recognized. So I think a lot of the band's goals was to get you suck you in the beginning, and then like really like be nice and super strong at the end. Obviously the Used didn't do that for me personally, but so yeah, so again, great song, love seeing it live, super cool. The second song had lyrics and strings at the beginning, and I really enjoyed that song. I didn't recognize it, but it did have like a bit of a slower feel, but I still really liked it. I mean, I like strings in songs like that, so that was definitely a plus for me. The third song was a much more energetic start. I really liked the verse and how they were saying. Like some of the lines ended in like a lower note, and it really gave the song like this really unique feel, so I really liked that. The next song had a similar feel, but it was a little slower during the verses. So again, it's like they started really like energetic and high, and then they kind of slowed it down. Then they played a new song off of their new record, which they have 11 of, by the way, 11 albums, craziness. It had a quick, short feel that I really liked. It had some feedback, but that was just something that I guess they couldn't control. I really liked the change in singing during the chorus, and then the sound went out of one of the speakers for a second, for sure. So again, I like felt bad, and then it was interesting because so the Used was the first band that I saw on the two like more main stages, and then the AFI was the second. But I was talking to some people in the crowd, and they're like, "Oh no, this has been happening all morning or all day." So so that was interesting because so clearly that was like a problem that had been reoccurring. The sound was not great. So the next song I didn't recognize. It had a bit more energy than the last. It slowed down for the bridge. It was like more of like a talking than a singing, so that was kind of cool. And then I liked when they built back up like after the bridge. I thought that was pretty neat. So they had like a nice kind of like deconstruction and then a reconstruction. The next song after that I did recognize, and again, so happy to see a song that I knew. Really enjoyed hearing the chorus, and they had a really like cool guitar part for the bridge, which I don't think is in the original, so that was neat. And then after that they played an old one. Again, I didn't recognize the song, but it was a lot of energy, quick short feel in the chorus, a big shift for the bridge, and then they slowed down and got really heavy really quickly, like a huge sudden change. So that was really cool. I really liked that as well. Okay, sorry. And then after that, they played Miss Murder, which was great. Obviously, so cool. Love that song. They let the crowd sing the word behind it, like every time, so that was cool. And then after that, so it's interesting because in my opinion, Miss Murder is probably their biggest single, right? But after that, they played the first song that I knew from them, and so I was really glad that they ended on it and really enjoyed the second verse. And it's like a short verse, but it's so good. So that was great. Their end of the set was really fantastic. After that, I went over to see Mom Jeans. I really liked so with Mom Jeans, the one song of theirs that I like absolutely love, I knew that they weren't going to play it. It's a slower song. You only have a half-hour set. I didn't think that they were going to play it, and that's fine. But I really liked the lyrics in the first verse of their first song, and they started 5 minutes early, so that was interesting. But then they had choreography with the bassist, so they were like, the singer was like dancing back and forth. I really liked the chorus too. First song was great, really good like crowd puller inner, and again, just like really high energy. He thanked the venue staff. Then the second song was really energetic. I liked the verses more than I liked the chorus. Wasn't a huge fan of the chorus, but I really liked the verses. So one of their band members broke his foot, and they were talking about that on Friday. So this show was a Sunday. So on Friday, he broke his foot, like was legit in a wheelchair on the stage. So like kudos to them. They definitely deserve like effort award of the day. Like just incredible. So yeah, so then they played a super famous bass line, and I don't know what song it is, but then stopped and then sang about drinking water. It was really random and weird, but again, just like entertaining because you were like, what's going on here? The next one is a very fast-paced song. They were always moving around. The lead singer was always moving around. Whenever he was not singing, he was doing something, and that was pretty impressive. The next song had a slower start, and then suddenly got really like fast and short feel. I really liked the sudden change, and I loved the second verse for that one. So then the next one was a slower song, and I really liked the chorus for. After that, they played a faster song. I enjoyed the pace of this one more than the previous, and it still had like a heavier scream part in the middle, so I liked that too. And then they ended early, but because they started early. So they talked about the amazing power of music and how grateful they are to all have us here. And then the last song had a very catchy start. They didn't play the song. So they didn't play the song that I wanted. Sorry, just looking at my notes here. But for this song, the catchier song at the end, I liked the chorus, and then the bassist like threw his guitar like in the air. Just a really fun set. And again, I knew that I didn't think they were going to play the song that I wanted them to play, and they didn't. But it was really a fun set, and they were really impressive, especially the broken leg guy, or broken foot guy. So then I went to go see The Story So Far. I really liked the repeated lines at the beginning of the song and chorus. I really liked the upbeat feel of the chorus. So first song was really good. Again, I thought I was gonna like know more of their songs, but I didn't. And so this was actually just kind of like like listening to a new band, even though I know that they're not a new band. The second song was a really good follow-up, very energetic, had an extended outro that went like pretty much right into the next song. The next song had more of like an emo vibe than a punk vibe, and it was a really good follow-up too. So I really liked that the first three were really good follow-ups to each other. And then the next song, again, similar vibe. Let the crowd sing part of the bridge. Nice follow-ups. Really liked the lyrics towards the end. So they at least had like a really good set in terms of follow-ups. Had the next song, like he sang with more of a raspy feel to the singing, which I liked. And then they kind of got back in more of like the punk vibe as opposed to the emo vibe for the verse. It wasn't my favorite from their set though. So yeah, that wasn't my favorite. And it like kind of, I don't know, it was interesting because like the feel kind of like shifted, and it wasn't like that good of a follow-up compared to the previous three. But the next song, I really liked the shorter, quicker feel of the verses and the chorus, and I liked the lyrics of the chorus. After that, they played the song had a really energetic vibe, and it was a really good follow-up. So again, they kind of like got back on that horse. Really liked the lyrics of the chorus for that as well. And then again, another really good follow-up, similar vibe, like the contrast between the verses, very quick, close together lyrics. So I really liked that. And then for the chorus, the verses, they had like quick, close together lyrics, and then the chorus, it was like further apart with pauses. So I really liked that. I really liked the contrast. I thought that was really, really well done. And then the last song was a really good follow-up. I really liked the second verse, and I liked like the lose my temper lyrics part. I thought that was really good. So again, it was like, I feel like I didn't actually know any of their songs, but I really enjoyed the set, except for that one song. Then on that same stage, All American Rejects came on, started with Swing Swing, changed the second verse, and part of the bridge, way too early for me personally. That's my favorite song of theirs. So like when I heard it, I was like, darn, I was like, they're opening with this. I wish they had gone closer to the end. I knew they weren't going to close with it because it's not that popular, but I was a little disappointed. Then they played Dirty Little Secret. Again, way too early, but fantastic follow-up, fantastic song. Definitely changed the pacing of the bridge. So then they played a song from the movie House Bunny. I liked the quick feel at the beginning. I didn't really know the song. I felt like I kind of maybe have like heard it at least once or twice. I kind of recognized the chorus, but I didn't really know it. But I did like the bridge. Then they thanked all of us for skipping Avril Lavigne. So that was kind of funny that they were at least aware that, we were here to see them instead of Avril. Then they played Ends Tonight, slow start with just the piano. Then instrumentals came in for the pre-chorus, and so I'd like totally forgotten about that song, and when they started playing it, I was like, oh my gosh, this song, that's right, it exists. So that was kind of cool. Then he said, this one goes out to anyone who collects Legos, and Spring Break of '99. Move Along was the song. So yeah, again, it seemed like too early for me, but it was fun to see live, and at the end he knelt down to play the guitar, so that was pretty cool. After that, he poured water for anyone who was sober, poured water for anyone who was drunk, and then just was like, I'm just gonna pour water just because I want to and make the stage people mad. So that was kind of funny. Then they played Give You Hell. They teased the song, with like a few lines from the chorus. There are little changes to the first verse, changed the pace in the chorus after the bridge, and in the bridge had the crowd sing the chorus after the bridge. So yeah, so that was cool. Okay, and so then definitely the last song, I didn't really recognize it. Definitely wouldn't have ended with this one. And again, it's like I get it, but I just, come on guys, be a crowd pleaser. So yeah, so that was All American Rejects. Again, great. Would have changed the order of their songs for sure. Then I made the worst decision of the night, and I went to go see, I left the stage where Manchester Orchestra would have been playing next, and I went to go see Bright Eyes. The reason I did that is because I would go see Manchester Orchestra like headlining. I would probably not go see Bright Eyes because I only knew the one song, okay, their most popular song. We'll get there. Okay, so their first song, I was not a fan of the lyrical part of the first part of the song, but I really did enjoy the instrumentals at the end. So yeah, at least the instrumentals were good. The second song, I liked the lyric part for the second song a little bit better. The third song, I really liked the short, quick feel of the next song, but and I liked the lyrics too, especially in the bridge. I thought that they had like a cool horns slash brass playing sound to it. For the next song, the singer, okay, so actually before we get to the next song, the singer for sure sounded drunk when he was speaking and talking. He was talking about like the record that they put out in 2020 right before the pandemic, and how it like, so then like no one listened to it. I don't know, it was like a rambly drunk. Okay, so then after that they played a song off of their newest album called Highs and Lows. I liked the quicker, shorter feel of the chorus, and I liked the instrumentals, including the sax and the violin. So that was an okay song. Okay, so he like tried to like, it was so weird. So again, I really think he was drunk. And so he tried to make like a cheerworthy moment about being grateful for playing in an amusement park, which we were not in an amusement park, for like drunk adults, which I guess like, yes, you could say like, oh man, like this is an amusement park for drunk adults, but I don't think anyone got it. Like it just kind of like went over all of our heads. I don't know. Talked about protests and I don't know. So then he played Old School Song for the New World Order. Sorry. Old School Song for the New World Order. The instrumentals in the bridge were my favorite part. So like, this is like already, so most of the things I liked about it were the instruments, not the singing, which doesn't happen very often. So apparently at this point, he's like, oh, we had 3 more songs, but we only have time for 2. So I'm just going to like cut one out. So we'll get there. So the next song, the lyrics were pretty good. I liked the instrumentals too. I really liked the strings towards the end. And then the last song was talking, so first he was talking about how he's agnostic when it comes to symmetry. So he's like, I wrote this song about symmetry, which I was like, I don't think that the lyrics to that song, but I don't know, maybe it's abstract. I'm not really sure. I'm not trying to judge here. But of course it wasn't the song I was hoping for. So then I was just like, I can't believe I like stayed for the set. It was so not what I was expecting. And I didn't even get to see the one song that I like came to see. And it was like their most popular song. Really, he had to cut that one out. He couldn't have cut another one out. So on top of that, right after, during the next set, someone came up to me and they were like, oh, and I was like, yeah, I was like, Bright Eyes was just playing. And they were like, oh, and I was like, oh, I was like, yeah, well, I was a little disappointed because I wanted to see Manchester Orchestra. And he was like, yeah, they were really good. I just came from there. And I was like, cool. So that was really disappointing. Definitely the low of the day for me. Spoiler, the other bands were way better than this. So yeah, this was definitely the low for me. So then Bring Me the Horizon was next. So that was cool. I'm glad that I got to see them from the start. They had this like computerized voice come on and talk about like doing diagnostics, like no mosh pit, and how that had to change. And so, yeah, so that was like, obviously that must be the beginning to their set overall. So then they played, sorry, I'm just gonna turn my car off. Because let's face it, I'm in here for the long haul, people. So they played Can You Feel My Heart? I really liked the lyrics and instrumentals for the first verse. He talked about, in the middle of the song, about having like a good time. And I really loved the bridge. The bridge was so good. Really loved that first song. Thought it was really like a great way to pull the crowd in. I'm going to guess the second song was called Spirit. I might be wrong. But they cheered Spirit, and they had like this thing on the screen that was all about Spirit. Really liked the verses. They had a heavier vibe than the previous song. Again, he stopped the song to encourage a mosh pit, sang the bridge, which was like a quieter part. So that was cool. After that, there was a heavier beginning, but then it got less heavy, and I really loved the short, quick feel of the pre-chorus, and I liked the lyrics in the second verse. Really liked the song, and I loved the piano part towards the end. So again, had a really like nice, good start. Really liked the songs. Then a woman's voice singing. It was almost like gospel music. Like it was, I don't know. It almost seemed like Irish gospel music maybe. And then got really heavy screaming after into the intro of that song. And I really liked the chorus of that one. After that, I really liked everything about the next song, including the instrumentals, just the vibe in general, the lyrics. It was really great. There was a slight shift in the vibe from the previous song, but I really, really liked this one. So I thought that they did a good job. Then after that, they had another woman's voice singing, and then they had an issue. So they had to stop the music. So someone in the crowd had gone down, and they asked people to clear the way. And then once it was settled, they restarted. It had like more of a rap feel, but I really like loved it. It was a little like almost like this song had like so many genres, right? So you start with like this female singing, and then you get into like this rap feel, and then all of a sudden it like changed to like a little bit of techno. So This Is a War is the single I think that is out right now. It was really cool to see live. Really liked the different elements. Loved the second verse. Had fire jets during the bridge, so that was really cool. The next one, True maybe is what it's called. I don't know. He told the title and I couldn't really hear. But he went to the barricade to sing or to say hello. And I really liked the opening lines, and it was a really good follow-up to the previous song. After that, the next song had a super energetic start. It was less heavy than a verse, which I liked the instrumentals for the chorus. They told everyone to get low, like to sit, and then before the bridge, and then everyone got back up when the chorus came back in. Of course, I don't really know how many people were able to do that. It was very crowded. So then the computer lady came back on to end it. That was it. Yeah, that was cool. I really liked their set overall. It was really good. Guys, I know we're almost done. You guys are doing great. You guys are doing great. All right, so then Paramore. Whew. All right, Paramore. We got this. Yeah, Paramore. Only 2 more bands, guys. Only 2 more. Okay, so it was a song I didn't recognize. Slower start. Sing the parts. Oh, they let the crowd sing parts around the chorus. Oh, yeah. And I really liked the second verse. Word repetition. The second verse was really good. And again, I'm actually kind of glad they started with the song I didn't know, because I definitely am no less than the probably average fan. So I was like, okay, I'm okay with this start because I want the songs that I know to be at the end. So I was okay with it. Let Your Heart Win was the second song. They let the crowd sing the first few lines. And again, it was just like, oh, I just love them. They're so good to see live again. Still Into You was the next one. Great follow-up. Really fun to see live. Then she was talking about how like it was a lot of emo in like a not small space. So like we need to get it all out. Then they played a song that I didn't know. It had a slower vibe than the previous song, but I liked the like ba 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 part at the end. For some reason it really caught my attention, and I was like, oh, I really like that. For the next song, I really liked the opening guitar. Again, I didn't recognize the song. I liked the short, quick feel of the verses and the phrase repetition. So in the middle of the song, they had to stop for another person who had gone down in the crowd. It was much quicker. It was like just a quick pause. And it was so impressive because she was like, so where do we pick up? And then she just like went right back into the song. Super professionally. I felt like she was having just as much fun when she first started singing the song, and then to end it after like a brief pause, like so professional. Seriously, she was so good. Okay, so then after that, again, something must have been wrong with the sound, because she said, I'm going to sit and talk while dealing with the tech stuff. So I don't know if there was actually a tech problem or if that was just part of the like set. But she talked about the history of emo and about how this should be a safe space, and how when they first got into the scene, it wasn't a safe space. And so yeah, I really liked that. I thought it was really, again, she just was like super professional. There was not a moment of the set where, I don't know, she just did a great job. I mean, the whole band did, but you know, I just really liked it. And maybe I'm a little biased because I was seeing Paramore after all these years, but okay. So for the next song, the lights went out and music started playing. I really liked the instrumental, had a quick short feel, very punk vibe. She asked if anyone knows how to dance. And so then the next song, It Ain't No Fun Living in the Real World, which probably not the full title, but that was the lyric that everyone knows. Threw the mic into the crowd a few times, threw the mic to the crowd a few times so that we could sing, especially for the bridge. So that was pretty cool. Then after that, she asked how about her mic wasn't working. So there definitely was a tech problem. So, for the next song, like the crowd sang a lot of it. But then she got a new mic pack, and the band was playing the whole time while she was doing this. So again, just like super professional. They didn't even pause. They didn't skip a beat. She got her mic changed. And then she again threw it back to the crowd and asked if we could hear them. And then her mic started working again. So then after that, much more energetic song, didn't recognize it, liked the song overall, had a drastic music shift, like an 80s vibe for the instrumental end, which I kind of liked. That was pretty cool. Then they played their new single, This Is Why. I was looking forward to seeing this song, just because it's new, and I was like excited to see their new stuff, and I like it. So yeah, and so it's interesting because when I hear it on the radio, I don't love it, but when I saw it live, I was like, okay, I actually like this a lot better now that I've heard it live. But it feels so good. So sorry, that's definitely not the song title. But then they played like their biggest hit. So I was glad that they ended with that one. She changed her voice. Okay, she changed her voice a lot during this one, and so you definitely could tell that she's like probably sick of singing that song, but in a fun way, not in like, ugh, I have to sing it, and like, screw it, I'm gonna like make this fun for myself too, because I have to play it all the time. So she like changed her voice a lot during the verses, let the crowd sing the first part of the second verse, and yeah, it was just like she like would literally like make it like a character voice. Like it was just unique, and you don't really see that a lot, so that was pretty cool. All right, guys, one more. I know, just hang in there, we're almost done. My Chemical Romance. Woo! All right. So Static Sounds played a disclaimer, which so Static Sounds were playing, and then a disclaimer, which I was way too far away to see, like popped up on the screen. Started with I'm Not Okay. Again, way too early for me personally. That's probably not what the song is called, but that's the chorus, I mean. But again, it was like a solid opener for the whole crowd because everyone was super into it. He definitely changed the pace in the second verse, and the third verse too. So that was cool. Then they went to the next song. I didn't recognize it, but it was a good follow-up, had a very similar vibe. Purposeful feedback on the mic. He like was holding a little feedback thing. Big shift for the bridge, definitely kept me engaged. I really liked that song. The next song had a similar feel to the previous song. Honestly, it could have been the same song with an extended bridge, but I'm pretty sure it was a different song. Like it got to a point where I was like, no, but I think it was a different song. So after that, they had this creepy voice. He was doing it with the mic, and a siren sound started. It was less instrumentally heavy at the beginning, which I liked. And it was like, I don't know, I just could hear stuff easier, so I liked that. I loved the first verse, with the joined in vocals, like the other people on the stage like joined in, and he was playing the keyboard one-handed while singing, so that was just like super impressive. I really enjoyed that song. Then it was The Ghost of You. Guys, this is my jam. This is the My Chemical Romance song for me. I love this song. I wish it was bigger than Black Parade. I'm so sick of hearing that song on the radio. I just want a different, even Helena would be better, but this is my jam. So, not many changes. They let the crowd sing the first line of the chorus. Really good to see. Again, I knew this was not going to be the end song, which for me personally was a little disappointing, but it was fine. So then they played a song that I recognized, but I didn't know that well. It was much heavier compared to the previous song, which, I mean, obviously that The Ghost of You is pretty like not heavy. So the next song after that was a good follow-up with a very similar vibe to the previous song. I liked the guitar part at the end and the lyrics right before the end. So I really liked that song as well. Then he had the crowd repeat like woos and woes. And then he went into, and I knew it. I heard it right before he started the like woes, and I was like, it's gonna be Elena. And it was. Loved the raspy quality he put on certain words in the first verse. Again, for me personally, way too early in the set. Loved the changes in the bridge, and he made it like short and quick. Just loved it. It was so good. After that, they played Black Parade, which I was really surprised. Really surprised. Changed the pace of the chorus, changed the pace and emphasis in the bridge. Like, so good. So many changes throughout the song. I loved it. I was really shocked. So I didn't know what time the show was going to end, but Paramore had played for an hour. So you figured My Chemical Romance was going to at least play for an hour, if not an hour, 15 minutes, like a normal set. So when they played this early, I was like, is it possible that this show is ending early? Like, I don't know what the like noise ordinances are in this part of Vegas. Like, I'm not really sure what's happening. But then I was like, there's no way they're playing shorter than Paramore. So it was just like really confusing because I was like, how are they playing this not last? Like, it was just really weird. And then they played the other song that a lot of people know from them, and I don't know what the title is. And it's like the teenagers scare the living out of me. I'm sorry, I don't know the title, guys. I know. It's embarrassing. Totally forgot about that song. Like, was like, oh my gosh, this is that song. So when they started playing, it was actually a really nice, like, surprise and a really good follow-up. And they let the crowd sing the second verse. They changed the guitar part at the end. And again, I don't know why they kept going. Just stop it there. We're all good. We've all seen the songs we want to see. Well, except for maybe their new single. But I just like was blown away that this was so early. And it was not even just like second to last song. This was so early in the set. So I was really shocked. So then they had like this like very like old Jewish polka sound to the verses in their next song. I liked the lyrics, but again, it was like after those 3 songs, it was just like, what are you doing? And then I liked the chorus better than the verses instrumentally. I thought it was I don't know, again, it was like, I think I was just so thrown off. It was like, you could have played the ABCs and it would have been like, what? Well, that would have just been weird, but you know what, you get of course I would have been like, what? You're playing the ABCs, but you know. Okay, so the next song, the crowd sang the beginning of the next song. I really liked the instrumentals and the bridge, and the end of the song as well. So again, good song, but it just, I don't know, it just didn't feel right. After that, the song was much heavier vibes. I really liked the screaming part, and I loved the sound of the verses. I thought that was, again, a good song, but why did you not play that earlier? The last song I didn't recognize, but I liked the quick, short feel of the first verse. They had confetti, like, right after the build-up, after the bridge, so I actually liked that it wasn't at the end. And then I realized why it wasn't at the end, because at the end they had fireworks. And so it was awesome. So I liked the fireworks part. But yeah, it was just so bizarre, man. It was so bizarre that they didn't finish with the way that they were going to finish. All right. Now I'm done, but we need to give this one a score. So obviously scoring this is like impossible because one, too many bands, too much happened, and I didn't see every single band. So like, who knows? Maybe other bands were way better. But I think overall, I'm going to give this one a solid 8.0. There were a lot of things I would have changed, obviously, but there were so many great moments and just songs that I hadn't seen in so long or thought I would never ever get to see again or ever at all. So like, whew. Definite highlights for me were Armor for Sleep. I basically bought the ticket to see them. But also Story of the Year, like Surpriser. All American Rejects was great. I loved the Acceptance, but again, that was like maybe more of a personal thing. I don't think a ton of people were super excited about Acceptance, but I was one of those super excited people. Low light for sure was Bright Eyes, for sure. Definitely Bright Eyes was my low light. And maybe The Story so far, but that was just because I didn't really know their music as well as I thought I did. So that was like just a personal like, oh, I guess I'm not as familiar with them. But again, they weren't bad. It just was like I like was disappointed that I didn't know more for myself. Great set, really liked all their music, but yeah. All right, so were you there? Were you supposed to be there on Saturday? What bands did you see that I didn't get to see? Any bands I should have gone to see? And don't say Manchester Orchestra because I already know that that's a fact. Yeah, well, if you're here still, thank you for sticking around. I know it was a long one, but I hope you had a great time if you went. And if you didn't get to go, I hope this helped you kind of like get a vibe for how it was. Thank you so much again, and I will see you guys next time. Like, comment, subscribe, and enjoy. Bye.